I'd like to welcome the management of UHL here to the committee. At the outset, I would love to see UHL be the top hospital in the country. That's at the outset. I've had family that have trained in your hospital in the earlier years, who are near retirement age now. Now, it was, and I must emphasise it was, the best training hospital in the country at that time. Student nurses wanted to go there to be trained because of what it meant to be trained in UHL. My biggest concern with the hospital, and I don't say it heartily, is the HICWA inspection, number one. Number two, the concerns since I've been a TD and before of my concerns of the hospital for morale, number one, for the staff. And I'm a person that spent time in the hospital myself in February when I overturned my car. Now, again, I hate saying this, but UHL wasn't my first choice. I actually went to John's first, and they wouldn't. They sent me back to UHL. And I actually asked them, I said, can you send me somewhere else? They said no. Now, for me to say that, and I want UHL to be the top hospital in the country, that it's only a concern for me, but it should be a massive concern for you. The biggest thing I see in UHL was the lack of reporting of minor and major incidents. And speaking to staff in the hospital, and I've spoken to a lot of staff in the hospital, from all the different ranges, from porters right up to the top, I've spoken to a lot of different staff. So I'm not taking a picture from one sector only. They felt that it was like being bullied within the hospital if they reported something. And that, to me, is not right. There's been huge money spent in UHL on legal fees in challenges to different things that have happened within the hospital. If that funding was put towards extra resources and training and inductions, it would help our hospital. But for morale within the hospital has to be right for people to get back in there. The structure has to be right in the hospital for people to get back in there and wanting to nurse there. The amount of nursing staff that have left the hospital in different stages, and I actually talked to some of them when I was actually in there myself, when I went from every part of the hospital around to where I had to go to. They said that the biggest problem was emergency services. When they got to other sections within the hospital, they could become nurses again. But they felt like it was like war times every time they went to work in the emergency service, because they felt that they went in to do their job and do their best, and they left stressed, saying that they couldn't help somebody because of the overcrowding in the hospital. Now, I was on a trolley when I was inside there, and I was moved from one section to another section, and I was in one section and there was a machine alongside me. They had to move 3 trolleys to get out that machine, to get somebody else that needed it. There was a line of people along the trolleys, along the corridors. There was papers put up on doors to block me seeing trolleys lined out on other corridors in a hospital that I want to see to be the best in the country. From the point of view of minor and major incidents, there has been fatalities in that hospital because of non-reporting of minor and major incidents. And I won't mention the case, Chair, because I know you lined it out, and I won't. But there is a case going on for 3 years where a young girl died in that hospital. And if the major incidents were reported, that person would not have been allowed to do that surgery. Now, this case has been held up for 3 years, been stonewalled here because it's trying to, we must cover this, and it's a legal thing that you're covering up because it'll show up the hospital for its inadequate to, yeah, I'm not going to mention any names.
No, but you're making suggestions that, you know, that there's something illegal or whatever.
Chair, I've already put this on the record within the Dáil, so I'm only quoting what I've already quoted within the presence of Dáil. So
I'm just asking you to be careful where you go. Okay.
So We also have other incidents that are happening in the hospital, and it's taken so long for legal to find out what actually happens and the cost of that. When that money could be used, if somebody said, listen to me, I got something wrong, lads. We got it wrong. Put our hands up. It should have been identified. It should have been reported, and we could have helped faster. We could have used that money that we're using on legal, which is actually rising within UHL in the last number of years of challenges, rather than putting it into the healthcare that you actually need and the staffing that you need, and to build the hospital back to the #1 hospital in Ireland again. That's all I want. I'm not here to have a go directly at you, but you are the manager, you are the boss, the CEO. And again, it's not directed at you, but it's frustrating from the outside looking in when you see that at the end of the day, it's the management team that are in the firing line, because they are supposed to have it structured in such a way that this happens. So that is my major concern for UHL. And again, I want it to grow. I want it to be the best trainer. I want the nurses and staff lining up outside the door saying we want to get in there. But if you look at the statistics, even for the nurses' placements this year in colleges, they had to drop points all over to try and get people back into nursing, into the caring system that we need. That again is something that I want to build. As I said, I've been in the hospital on numerous occasions, and I was recently in the Martyr Hospital with a son of mine that had a spinal operation. And I was looking at the different structures that they have and the different backups and teams that they had. I was looking at what way it was structured. They probably have more space, they probably have more facilities than you have. So what I want to find out from you today is, what are you going to do about minor and major incidents, and making sure that a person that wants to report it is not going to be deemed and say, listen, you can't report on this person, you can't. It's for the betterment of the hospital. And it's for to make sure the hospital runs efficiently, and it also brings down your legal challenges that you will have. And I would ask you again today, look into that one thing about that 18-year-old, and we all know what we're talking about, and to see, can we get to a conclusion for that family? And bring it to thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. And we concur that we want to be the best hospital and best region in the country. I look forward to meeting you. I believe we're meeting soon, and you can show me the facts of what you're asserting. I'm going to hand you over to Professor Brian Lenihan to talk about risk and incidents, because he is the lead for quality in the Midwest and looks at all of that data all of the time, and we'll address that for you.
So thank you. So a very important part of my role is quality patient safety. Incident management is something that is integral to that. The investigation of incidents that are raised. We have a very robust system in place. All staff are encouraged to raise incidents, both minor and major. All staff are offered training on Q-Pulse, which is the system with which incidents are raised. And I can assure you, once an incident is raised, it is investigated in line with the incident management framework. It is categorised. It either has a preliminary assessment done, and it can be closed out if it is minor, and there are learnings from that. And if it requires a more substantial investigation, it goes on to a systems analysis, which can be an internal or external review. And I have commissioned many of them in my 2 years, and I am the commissioner of ones that were commissioned by my predecessors. It is something that is extremely important, and I'm disappointed for anyone to suggest that there is an ethos of bullying where people are discouraged from raising incidents, because in my role I encourage it to be absolutely open, absolutely transparent. And if the minor incidents aren't raised, we don't know about them. My office can't know about them. We cannot investigate them, and as you rightly say, prevent them becoming something more major. But it is something that I'm extremely proud of the system we have. We have built a very robust system, and anything that is logged, that is then escalated onto the national incident management system. But if it is not raised in the beginning, I don't know about it. I cannot investigate it, escalate it, close it out.
Just to finish one question before my time is up.
People are openly encouraged.
What did HICWA bring up on their report when they looked at the minor and major incidents and the ones that went to national? how many of them actually went to national reporting and how many were actually dealt with in the HICWA report?
In what HICWA report?
In the report, in the HICWA inspection that you got, was that highlighted within the HICWA?
Not a subject matter of it.
It wasn't.
Not a subject matter of this HICWA report at all. This HICWA report looked at 4 standards as part of the Safer and Better Standards in Healthcare. It was a very specific review. But I can tell you, I review our incident management reporting, and it forms part of our monthly performance meetings and our meetings with National Incident Management System. And it is discussed openly and transparently. I can assure you of that.
I look forward to meeting you in the future in the meeting that we have coming up. Thank you.